unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods of wood and stone.
So the Lord said in the beginning when we read verse Exodus 20, remember I said that was important for us to remember that, right? In Exodus 20, verse 1, 2, and 3, the Lord said don't put no other God before him, right?
Yep.
And the Lord said that he's a jealous God, right?
Yep.
But we did do that, called Islam and Christianity. That's the wood and the stone. The wood is the cross, and the stone is the cobblestone. Those are the gods that our people serve. Are they not the two largest religions on the face of the earth?
Yes, they are.
No matter where you go, you got the black man in either Christianity or Islam. And the Lord here telling you this is what we're going to do. He's telling you right now that Christianity is not of him. Islam is not of him. Because he said what? You're going to be serving other what? Gods.
Of wood and stone.
Of wood and stone. Go ahead, read.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
So he said that, and you shall become an astonishment. You know what astonishment is? You know, when we out there walking around and you see young kids with their doggone whole behind out, boys with their whole behind out of their pants, standing in line or whatever they doing. That's an astonishment. The astonishment is you say that boy with his pants and his whole butt hanging out of his pants is an Israelite. Other nations going to look at us laughing. That's an Israelite? Yeah, that's an Israelite. But that's an astonishment because you can't believe it. You got sisters out there with green mohawks and purple hair and stuff like that. Blonde hair, and your behind is like a shade lighter than charcoal. And you got blonde hair. The hell is this? Don't make no sense. You ain't even born that way. But yet we the people of the book, right? Mm-hmm. And walk around looking like that. I wonder if they look in the mirror, how they be saying, I look good. Can you say I look good? Your damn eyelashes look like umbrellas on your face. And your hair gold. And you dark as night. And you talking about you fine. What the hell is this? I tell you, man, our people crazy. That's an astonishment. That's an astonishment. I seen a lady, she had Candyland. You know what Candyland is? The game? She had that on her head. She had a whole Candyland on her head in the hair show. Bro, when I saw that, I was like, what the hell, bro? I ain't never seen no white people walk around no Candyland on their head. I ain't never seen no Chinese people walk around like that either. Japanese, just us. Walk around with a one chick had her hair with lollipops in it. I don't know, bro. I don't know what to do, man. That's an astonishment. When you see stuff like that, you said, God damn, they belong to us. Can't we just put them all in one room and turn on the gas and just kill them all and start over? Well, that's what the Lord gonna do. He ain't gonna turn on no gas. He gonna turn on the fire. And he gonna kill all y'all raggedy behinds out there walking around with that gold hair and lollipop head and eyelashes big like doggone snow plows on the snow plow truck. Running around here crazy like that. Come on, man. Y'all gotta get it together, man. So a byword, right? A proverb and a byword, like Negro, nigga, black, spick, coon, whatever. Ain't none of them your names. Ain't none of them your names. Among all the nations, meaning all the other nations out there got a name for nigga. There's a translation for nigga in every language. I hope y'all know that. You got nigga in English. You got mulatto, what they call us in Italian. They either a muli. A muli is a nigga in the Italian language. The Africans call us akatas, cotton pickers. That's what that means. You know what I'm saying? Coon, whatever. And Chinese and the Japanese call us kulons. Kunlun. That means nigga. That's what you are. The Koreans call you that, kulon. When they hear you kulon, you stand in the elevator and you with them Asian people and you hear all that kulon. You hear that? They just call you a nigga. They was talking about you in the elevator. Running around here crazy as hell, man. Jump down to where we at? We left 37. Jump down to 41.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
So now he said we're going make babies, and we ain't gonna enjoy them babies. You know how people have their little happy time when the baby born or whatever, like we doing now, taking the pictures and all of that. That wasn't happening when back during this time. We have a baby. Soon as the baby come out, the baby's on the slave auction block, sold to somebody else, to be raised up, to be a slave wherever they going to. You ain't gonna enjoy your babies. That wasn't happening to no other nation or people. That was only happening to us. The Chinese can't say that happened to them. The Japanese can't say it happened to them. What do you call it? The Edomites, the white folks, that didn't happen to them. That didn't happen to no Arabs. That didn't happen to no Africans. That happened to you and your people. That's who it happened to. And it said that they shall go into captivity. Captivity is you against your will doing something, you're in prison. That's captivity. Go ahead and read verse 42. No. 43.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
So the stranger that's above you, meaning somebody that ain't your people, that's going to be above you very high, and you're going to be very low. Meaning that they're going to be the top, and you're going to be the bottom. Okay, that's what that means. They're going to be in charge, you're going to be not in charge. They're going to be the best, you're going to be the worst. They're going to be the good, you're going to be the bad. They're going to be the clean, you're going to be the dirty. They're going to be precious, you're going to suck. That's what that means. Go ahead, read.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Stop right there. So that means that he going to be able to give you everything you need, but you ain't going to never be able to give him what he needs. That's what that means. He going to give you car loan. He going to give you school loan. He going to give you mortgage. He going to give you food, grocery store, everything he going to give you. You ain't going to never be able to give that back to him. You ain't in no power to give him no education. You ain't in no power to give him no food. You ain't in no power to give him no water. You ain't in no power to give him nothing. He going to give it to you. You can't give it to him. That's what that means. Read.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee.
Stop right there. So now the Lord going to remind your behind again. Because, see, you know, after we done read from verse 15 up to verse 44, some of the people forgot. You see what I'm saying? They forgot. Everything they just read, they forgot. Now he about to remind you again. Hit the DVR button on you again. Rewind.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
So he said that these things gonna be on you until you destroy. He ain't say nothing about, oh, I'm a lighten up on you. No, he said till you be destroyed. He gonna make sure you destroy with these curses. Read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
You ain't listening. Go ahead.
to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Upon now who?
Thy seed forever.
Your seed is your children. Forever don't end. Forever. Forever. Forever don't end. That means it's going to be upon us forever. Forever don't stop till Christ come back. You understand what I'm saying? So it don't matter what you go out there and do, and how much marches you have, how many speeches you have for the people to come together. The only thing you should be telling the people is keep God's commandments. That's it. Because we ain't coming out of these curses until Christ return. That's the bottom line. All you non-messianic Israelites, you better get with the program. Because there's nowhere in the world that you can tell me you keeping the Most High commandments and you don't believe in the Messiah. It's impossible for you to do that. That means you don't believe none of the Bible, because what in the world make you think you're going to come out of these curses? How the hell are you going to get out of the curses if the Messiah don't return? You see what I'm saying? You got to really think about the stuff that y'all got pondering in your brain. The curses of Deuteronomy that you know came on to us. How you going to get out of that if there's no Messiah? Silly. Go ahead, read, brother.
Verse 47. Because thou servest thy Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
So he said that you didn't serve him with gladness, because that's what we should have been doing. Our Father is the Most High. I mean, can't you get that through your head? Ain't no damn Horus, owl face, dog face, man doing nothing for us. Ain't no damn chicken head broad with a big old wings running around here. We talking about we Egyptian and all that. What in the hell they ever did for us? Your Father is the Most High power. Horus and all of them ain't put you in no slavery. Ain't do none of that. And our people running behind Egypt like they crazy. Africa is a continent, newsflash. And it's 54 countries in Africa. And all you Negroes come from Egypt. The hell is this? So where the Ethiopians come from? And the Sudanese. Ain't none of y'all none of them? Ain't none of y'all them damn people running around with the flies flying around their head and they stomach big? Ain't none of y'all none of them? Oh no, everybody Egypt. The hell is this? Our people's dumb as hell, man. Because they don't listen. They don't follow what the scriptures say. They running around here talking about their gods, but at the bus stop. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. If you're a god, then you should got a magic carpet or something to snap your fingers and get to where you going. You know that's what a god do. A god can get you out of the situation that you in, not riding to the 11th floor on a pissy elevator. That don't make no sense. but you a God, but in the projects, or whatever you doing, but you a God. That's how people that always be singing that though. You know that, right? The ones in the projects, the one living below the poverty line, you know what I'm saying? They fingernails so long, I don't even know how they wipe their behind. You know what I'm saying? But they gods or goddess. You know what I'm saying? But you got wit to get your baby some milk. And you a goddess. Come on, man. Get out of here. That craziness. Go ahead, read, brother.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So stop right there. The Lord said he going to send our enemies, right, against us. And he going to send our enemies against us in hunger, and in thirst, and nakedness. Meaning that all the functions that we need for life, food, water, clothes, got to come from our enemies. Is it not happening like that right now to this day?
Yes.
It is. We got to go to them for everything. Please name me the black man that owns the water plants. What's his name? Or what's her name? It ain't one. It ain't one. Please name me the black man or woman that owns the distribution center for all the food that distributed all throughout the United States and the rest of the world. It ain't one. Please name me the same person that the distribution of all the textiles throughout the world. Because I own Sean John label or whatever label out there, that don't mean I own the textile companies that making the clothes that I put my name on. We don't own none of that. No matter what, you still got to go to your enemy to get the things you need. If you need a house built, you got to go to your enemy for that. You need a mortgage to pay for that house, you got to go to your enemy for that. You need windows in the house, you got to go to your enemies for that. You need gas to cook with, you got to go to your enemies for that. You need water to wash your behind, you got to go to your enemies for that. You need electric to power your house, you got to go to your enemies for that. Because your people, no matter if they over there working 300 hours of overtime, making $200,000 a year at the electric company, he don't own the damn electric company. The man that's paying him $200,000 is the one that owns the electric company. So don't think because you comfortable and living comfortable that you're above this. You ain't. You are no different than the man that's in the ghetto. Than the brother that's on the park bench. You ain't no different from him. Because you got money. You ain't no different. You still a Negro and you still in want of all things. Go ahead, read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So stop right there. Brother Juan, can you pull up on Google? Can you pull up in the Google yoke of iron upon thy neck? We're going to see what Google say yoke of iron upon thy neck look like. And if you listening, or you got your family that you're going to send this to, type in a yoke, the same way it's in the Bible. It says Y-O-K-E, yoke of iron upon thy neck, right? And then you hit images or whatever you want to do. You tell me what you see. Brother Juan, go ahead and show that. What is a yoke of iron upon thy neck? That's a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Now show them the Google search that you just did, so they can see the Google search and see that we ain't over here playing no games. See, it says yoke of iron upon thy neck in the Google, and then you look, you see our people. What a yoke of iron on their neck. Why they ain't showing nobody else? They showing us. Y'all just don't get it. The book is talking about you. So go ahead, brother. Read, finish that part, the yoke of iron.
Until he has destroyed thee.
Until he had destroyed thee. So let's put them in the reality of things. If you heard of a visible dog fence, everybody probably heard of a visible dog fence. And see, when you come get to buy the visible dog fence at the pet store, right? They got this yellow line that you bury in the ground, right? And the dog got this collar that go around his neck. Then you turn on the power for the electric line to send voltage all throughout the borders of your yard. And it reacts to the collar that's on the dog neck. So when the dog go running to the borders of the yard, the collar shock the hell out of them. Make them do backflips and all kind of stuff. So then the dog do that for a week or two. And every time he try to go out of the yard, that collar shock him, no matter where he try to go. That collar shock him. Then week 3 come. At the end of the week, you feed the dog, you take the collar off his neck. Right? The dog finish eating, he go to the mailbox or go to the curb and stop. He turn around and go back in the yard. Why? Because he remember the last 3 weeks, he getting shocked from going up to that corner. But he ain't realizing the owner took the collar off his neck. Mm-hmm. So they ain't on his neck no more, but he ain't put the two together. Oh, in his brain, he's still thinking if he go past this point, he going to get electrocuted. Yeah. That's the same thing as what the Lord's saying. Have the yoke of iron upon thy neck until you have destroyed, until you destroy. The physical collar that was around our neck is no longer there. But the limitations that we had from our enemies, we still doing them. We as a people still doing them. How many friends you got out there that's not in the truth and don't understand what's happening to us? How many friends you got out there that say, oh no, I ain't gonna do that. You know, the man gonna get mad. Oh, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Why you got that fear? Because the yoke of iron is still on your neck mentally. Go ahead, read.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Stop right there. So he says, shall bring a nation against thee from far. Okay. Africa to North America, is that close? Can you drive that distance? No, you can't. It's a big old giant ocean called the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean and the Gulf, the Gulf, the Persian Gulf that's in between you. On a ship, it take a week or so now because they got faster ships. Back then it was all wind sail. It took you a year to do that. On an airplane, it take you about 8-9 hours to do it. That's far away. So it said that it's going to bring a nation against you from far. And that nation going to come as swift as the eagle fly. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
They're going to speak a language you ain't never heard before. Now, when Christ is on the earth, right? And Christ was being crucified. right? And we're gonna go see what the scriptures say. Christ was being crucified when he was on the earth. There were other languages spoke. Let me get that precept real quick. Hold tight. Try this again. Hold tight. Let's go to Luke chapter 23. Go to Luke chapter 23. I want you to go to start at verse 36.
The book of Luke, chapter 23, verse 36. And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him and offering him vinegar.
So stop right there. The soldiers, these are the centurions, the Roman centurions that's mocking Christ. Okay? And they offer him vinegar. All right? Go ahead, read.
And saying, If thou be the king of the Jews, save thyself.
Keep going.
And a subscription also was written over him in letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew.
So letters was written over Christ's head. So, they put Christ on a tree shaped like a cross. Okay? And over the top of his head, they put a sign that they nailed to the cross. And that cross, that nail was in subscription, meaning that the written language of 3 different languages, right? And what were those languages?
Greek, Latin, and Hebrew.
So they understood Greek language. They understood the Latin language, where the Spanish come from. And then they understood the Hebrew, right? So these languages, they all knew. Language that they didn't know was English and French and Portuguese. They didn't know that. They didn't know that language. So the scriptures say in verse 49, right? Go ahead, read that again.
And 38, you mean?
28 and 49.
All right, 49. And all his acquaintance.
No, sorry. Deuteronomy 28 and 49.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle. Fly a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So our brothers and sisters didn't understand this language that they were hearing. Go ahead, read.
A nation of fierce countenance.
That means they ain't got no regards for who you are or the fact that you even a human being. They don't care about none of that. Go ahead.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young.
So that means that they don't care if you 80-something years old or if you 10 years old. They're going to treat you the same. They're going to put you behind the work. That's what it means. So jump down to verse 54.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. His eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave.
Okay, so this is a heavy verse right here. The reason why this is a heavy verse, when it says, so the man that is tender among you, meaning the man that you held in high regards, right, is very delicate to your eye, meaning he good to look on, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, meaning that black on black crime, when we out here shooting each other down in the streets. That's what it means right here in this scripture. And then towards his wife in his bosom, meaning that you don't keep the commandments towards your wife, or whatever the case may be. You may be out there stepping out and doing the things that you do, or leave your family. See, people think that, okay, you go have matrimony and you marry, that's your wife. No, you put your rod inside of that woman, and you have children with that woman, that's your wife, and then you walk away from that. You walk away from that. We ain't talking about the women that keeping the children away from their fathers or whatever the case may be. We talking about the fathers that ain't wanting nothing to do with the kids and walk away from them. That's what we talking about. That's what it's saying right here in the scripture. That you're going to look at the remnant of your children and you shall leave them. That's prevalent among our people. That's a curse. That's a curse. Because you might have sisters out here setting brothers up. You know what I'm saying? But no matter how we put it, we put ourselves in the predicament that we was in. Bottom line. So go ahead, read verse 55.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat.
Whom he shall eat. Now, we got to go on some history when we read that right there. When it's talking about whom it shall eat, go ahead, finish reading that, then we're going to go into history.
Because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
So let's get the precept to that. See, now we're about to prove again that in order to understand this scripture, verse 55, you got to understand the New Testament. Because what Moses is talking about in verse 55 didn't happen in the Old Testament. It happened in the New Testament. So let's get the history. Go to Mark chapter 13. Hold what you got in 28. Start at verse 12.
The book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 12. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son. And the children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. So that's what we got right now going on. Children rising up against their mother and father. Okay. Let me get our children rising up. It said that the brother shall betray the brother, right? Read verse 13. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. So we're going to be hated by all men, meaning all nations going to hate us for Christ's name's sake. So what that means is the fact that you don't even realize that Christ is your people. But yet the people hate you because Christ is your people. They know that. It's you that don't know that. So that's when you got brothers and sisters out here running around here talking about who other people are. Like Esau is the Arabs, right? Like talking about who Japheth is and who this is or who that is or whatever the case may be. The scriptures make it clear who is who. But you didn't even know who you was. And you out here telling people who other nations are that never lost their heritage. Does that make any damn sense?
The Ishmaelites know who the hell they are. They knew who they came from because they never lost their heritage. So you people out there that think you know every doggone thing, you don't know a damn thing. Other nations ain't never had a break in their history. They never had a break in their heritage. They could go back from the beginning of time to now. They know who they are. You don't know who you are. So shut up talking about who is who. We know who is who because the scriptures say so. So now, that is a little bit off topic, but I jump back on topic. Read verse 14. No, finish reading 13, then read 14.
But he that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Mm-hmm.
But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet,
That's going to be important. Go ahead.
standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand.
So in order to understand what is being read here in verse 14, you got to understand the Old Testament, right? Okay, because it's telling you about the Daniel prophet, the prophet Daniel. Well, we're going to get into that too. So go ahead, keep reading.
Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains.
So that's the people that's in Jerusalem, the city of David, what we call Jerusalem, but which ain't Jerusalem now, but the city of David, Jerusalem, Zion, whatever you want to call it, that flee to the mountains. Those mountains were Egypt. Okay? Now go to, now to further explain that, go to Luke chapter 21. Because see, Mark just gave you his from his point of view and his perspective a piece of the story. Now Luke about to add to that to bring it all back in the understanding, so you can see what verse Deuteronomy 28 and 55 talking about. Go ahead, read. Luke 21, start at verse 20.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Okay, so compassed means surrounded. You gonna see Jerusalem. Now Mark just said that those that was in Judea flee to the mountains, right? Mm-hmm. So now Luke, the book of Luke is telling you when you see Jerusalem surrounded by troops, right? Read.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
That means it's near. That means the desolation that's coming is near. Go ahead, read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Okay, so now he's saying the same thing Mark said. Those that's in Judea flee to the mountains. Keep going.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
So those that are in Jerusalem, get out. Go ahead.
And let them that are in the countries either thereinto.
So those that are coming, don't go to the country. Go ahead, read.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
What was written? Deuteronomy 28 and 55. That was what was written. Read that again, verse 55 in Deuteronomy 28.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness.
Okay, and distress, right, of the gates. So when you're under siege, right, are you not surrounded by somebody that won't let you out wherever you in?
Yep.
You under siege. So go ahead, finish reading that. Go to Luke 21, and go ahead, read verse 22 and 23.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck.
So he say, woe unto them that are with child, and those that give suck. So what kind of children give suck? That means suckle from the mother's breast.
Babies.
Babies suckle from the mother's breast. Right? Why he say woe? Keep reading.
In those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people.
Keep reading.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
And to where?
Into all nations.
And to all nations. People, this is known in history as 70 AD. The siege of Jerusalem. Our people was eating their children because they could not get out of the city. Remember, when this happened, this was during the time of the Passover. So what are the children of Israel commanded to do for the children for the Passover and all the lands that you live in, regardless of the fact that we was in bondage, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get that understanding. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 2. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 2, and read I want you to read start at verse 7.
Acts chapter 2, verse 7.
Read.
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
Yeah, Galileans, meaning that they all Israelites. Okay, so this is the time, the day of Pentecost. The reason why I came here, because I want to show you where these people came from. Go ahead, read. Read verse 8.
And how hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born.
Okay, so me and you born in the United States, right? We speak English. Okay, these Israelites were born in different lands. Let's see what kind of language they were speaking. Read.
Parthians.
Right, so Parthians, that's one country. Go ahead, read.
The Medes.
Yeah, so the Medes, go ahead, read.
And Elamites.
That's modern day India and all those places. Go ahead.
And the dwellers in Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia. That's Greece. Okay, read.
And in Judea.
And Judea.
And Cappadocia.
Yeah, Cappadocia.
In Pontus.
And Pontus.
And Asia.
And Asia. Go ahead, some more cities. That's
Persia. Pamphylia.
You right.
In Egypt. And in parts of Libya.
Right.
About Cyrene.
Yeah.
And strangers of Rome. Jews. And proselytes.
Yeah. And Cretes and Arabians. All of these are different countries that the Israelites were coming from for Pentecost. The same places they was coming for Pentecost, they was coming from those same places to Judea for what? The Passover. So when you read it, that means that the city was full of us. More than what normally would be there. Because the history would tell you that when Titus came, which this is that siege, he came a couple of days before the Passover. He came a couple of days before the Passover. Let's get that history. Let me get that history for you. Hold what I got. Oh, we could come off a loop. We can come off a loop. We go back to Deuteronomy. And let's see here. I want you to read. Matter of fact, I'll read it. I'll read it right here. This is Josephus. All right. Josephus is one of the people that he was an Israelite that Titus took, to do his pretty much the history about what took place. okay, in Judea. So Josephus wrote an account. I had a book at home called Josephus, right? That's the name of the book. And here, this is out of Wikipedia that we going to read. The same thing the book said, same thing the Bible saying. Now we're going to read what Wikipedia is saying. So if you got Wikipedia, you can go to Wikipedia and pull up the siege of Jerusalem. And we're going to start at this paragraph where it says Josephus claimed. So here we go. So Josephus claimed that 1.1 million people were killed in the siege, of which the majority were Jews. Josephus attributes this to the celebration of the Passover, which he used as a rationale for the vast amount of people present among the death toll. Armies as well as frail citizens were put to death. All Jerusalem remaining citizens became Roman prisoners. After the Romans killed the armed and elder citizens, 97,000 were still enslaved, including Simon Bar of Gigara, John of Gascalon, Simon of Bar Gior, and John of Gascala, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Of the 97,000 were forced to become gladiators. So when you're watching the movie Gladiator and you see what was his name? Maximus. Maximus was a Jew, a black man. And we were put in those gladiator games. Let's see what happened. And eventually expired, that means killed in the arena. Many others were forced to assist in the building of the forums, to assist of peace and the Colosseum. So they used us to build their Colosseums and everything else. Those under 17 years of age were sold into servitude. Josephus' death toll assumptions are rejected. So they're trying to say Josephus is telling a lie about what happened because they didn't want the real truth to come out. No, the truth is the truth. Josephus was saying what really happened. It was a lot of us that they killed, that these Romans killed. Okay, let's keep going down. I want to go down to Titus. Titus and his soldiers celebrated victory upon their return to Rome by parting the menorah and the table of bread of God's presence through the streets. So they was carrying around the menorah. They was carrying around the menorah and the table that the showbread was on and all of these things. They was carrying it around like trophies. Now they're gonna show and prove that that's true. Matter of fact, the Arch of Titus that's in Rome right now today, all of this is on the on that arch. Okay? If you live in cities like Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Manhattan, arches are erected all over the city of Philadelphia, all over the Brooklyn and Manhattan and France. These big blocks of stone look like a big U upside down. That's the arches that they place this information on. Okay? So now we're going to see what the things that Josephus wrote and what the Lord said when we keep on going into this history about what happened. So let's look. Can you see that? Everybody see that? That's what the Roman soldiers was carrying. They was carrying this around. See it?
Menorah.
See the menorah? Mm-hmm. And the showbread, all of our stuff. You see what I'm saying? And watch what the Lord say when we keep on going into this history. That's why I said we're going deep. So now it says again, Titus and his soldiers celebrated victory upon their return to Rome. upon their return to Rome, right? And then it says, and the table of bread and God's presence through the streets, up until they parading these items, had only ever been seen by the high priest of the temple. Meaning that these things only been seen by the high priest of the temple. They were just carrying around the street before the Lord, showing that they conquered us. You see what I'm saying? So let's keep getting what actually happened. So now the Arch of Titus, which I just mentioned to you earlier, the Arch of Titus, many fled to the areas around the Mediterranean, according to Philostratus writings and the early years of the 3rd century. Titus reportedly, so Titus is the general that did this, his father Vespasian, right? He reportedly refused to accept a wreath of victory, meaning that the Roman army gave you like this wreath, right? For victory, because you won the battle. He refused the wreath of victory. Why did he refuse it? So Titus reportedly refused to accept the wreath of victory, saying that the victory did not come through his own efforts, but that he had merely served as an instrument of God's wrath. How in the hell would the Romans know that if they didn't know that we was cursed? Why would he say that if he didn't know that we was cursed, that we was a cursed people breaking God's laws?
Wow.
Because they understood what was happening to us was because we broke his laws. That's why they were so bold to attack us, because they knew the Lord wasn't with us. So, we're going to bring the truth out without a shadow of a doubt so you can see. We ain't over here playing no games. We're going to show you the history of what happened to our people. And we're going to show the history of the world, the history of the Bible, the history of other writings throughout the scripts of what actually took place. So now you remember when we read in Mark, when it said about the what Daniel said, right? And talking about what Daniel said. Well, we're going to get into that. So now we just explained 55. Now jump down to verse 58.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God.
That's right, the Lord thy God. Because we didn't fear that, what was written, what the Lord said was going to happen to us. We ain't fear that thing. We act like we good. We act like we had it going on. So now, read verse 63. Let's see what the Lord got it in store.
And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoice over you to do good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you.
Yeah, now, when he was happy for us to multiply and do what we supposed to do and be a great nation, now he going to rejoice in tearing our behinds out the frame. Go ahead.
And to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it.
So the land that he gave us, he took us off of it. He took us off the land. Now we're going to find out something about him taking us off this land as we keep reading. So go ahead, read 64.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other.
So now the Israelites got scattered from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
So then he's saying it again that we're going to serve other gods. Keep going.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So once again, Christianity and Islam. Let's get 65.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
So the nations that we're going to go into captivity in, we ain't going to find no ease in those nations. Read.
Neither shall thy sole of thy foot have rest.
Go ahead.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart,
A trembling heart means you're going to be scared for your life. Read.
and falling of eyes,
So failing of the eyes you're going to have because you can't, number one, you can't believe what's happening to you. And number two, ain't a damn thing you can do to stop it. Read.
and sorrow of mind.
That's right, because you're gonna be saying to yourself, well, wow, look at the condition. Look, what we gonna do? That's the sorrow of the mind. Read 66.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
So that means that you ain't gonna know if you coming or going. So I don't know about you, but I know about me. Okay, I'm in law enforcement. And every time the man pulled my car over, guess what I'm thinking about? If I got this, if I got that, I don't want to get killed. I don't want to die because this dude thinking I'm, reaching for something or whatever. I'm trying to get my license. That's what Negro men and women think about when they get pulled over by the police. The white man ain't thinking about that because when the police won't walk up to the white man door, he cursing his ass out. What you pull me over for? What's wrong with you? And the police up there answering him, like trying to calm him down. Mm-hmm. But that ain't with us. That ain't with us. That lady in South Carolina, that old lady in South Carolina, she ain't even get words out of her mouth yet. And he zapped her with that doggone taser, pull her out the car and beat the hell out of her. Then he asked her questions. License and registration after she done got knots all upside her head and zapped with the zap gun. Crazy as hell. So your life gonna hang in doubt. You ain't gonna have no control over that. Go ahead and finish reading 66.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
That's right. So when Castillo got pulled over, do you think he was thinking he was gonna die that day? Nope. It probably was in his mind that it might happen. Because he told him he had a gun, right? Mm-hmm. So he was trying to make sure that he let him know everything that was going on so that he don't get killed. Mm-hmm. Ain't no other people gonna be doing that. Chinese man ain't thinking that when he get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? The white man ain't thinking that when he get pulled over. But Latino and black man, especially black man, you thinking that. You thinking that. When the dude that got shot down, they said reach back in the car with the windows up. How the hell you reach back in your car and your window up? And they shot him to pieces out there in the street. You know what I'm saying? They ain't thinking they was going to die. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happened to our people. So we had to bring this stuff. Sandra Bland, when she got pulled over, do you think that woman thought that she was going to die that day? That she was going to die, get beat up like she did, and then put in the jail cell and then die in the jail? And nobody know what happened to her? That's what the scripture means. Your life is hanging in doubt, and you had no assurance of your life. Go ahead, read verse 67.
In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even.
So you wishing that is nighttime.
Excuse me, the room's reserved at 3.
Okay. So now you wishing it's nighttime. Go ahead. So
And even thou shalt say, would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
So we're gonna finish this up. We gotta shut it down real quick, but we're gonna finish this up. So just tune back in because we're coming back. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Most High Christ bless. We ready to start class. We're running a little late. Let's get it popping. We're gonna finish up.
The recording has started.
We're gonna finish up on what we had to, stop last Sabbath. Lord will, we're here now to finish it up. So Brother Juan, you remember when we left off at? I think we was in Wikipedia.
Yep.
All right. So we was in Wikipedia, ready to go into. We were speaking on when during the slave trade. Let me pull up those notes.
Yeah, the yoke of iron.
Yeah. We had already discussed the part where we were going into the part where the people that sold us over in West Africa, you know, what the king was saying, right? That's what we was talking about. So let's go to that. No, we didn't mention that, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so what happened was we were going into the part of Wikipedia. If you know, just joining us, and you could pull up Wikipedia, the transatlantic slave trade, and we were like halfway into the paragraph, and we started reading about the kings of Dahomey. You know, that sold war captives, which we were the war captives, and what happened. So I was reading that, and we had to shut down class. So we're gonna go into that history real quick, and then we could go from there. We go back into the Book of Daniel. So because we were running in succession, exactly how everything took place, how it happened. So right now I'm gonna go to in the Wikipedia, the kings of Dahomey and what they said and what happened. So here we go. It's like the kings of Dahomey sold war captives into the transatlantic slave trade. They will otherwise have been killed in ceremonies known as the annual customs. As one of West Africa's principal slave states, Dahomey became extremely unpopular with the neighboring peoples like the Bambara Empire and to the east, and the Kaso kingdoms depended heavily on the slave trade for their economy. A family status was indicated by the number of slaves it owned, leading into wars for the sole purpose of taking more captives. This trade led to the Kasos into increasing contact with the European settlements of Africa's west coast, particularly the French. Benin, so let me tell you where these places are in a map. If you take a look at a map of the continent Africa, and you look where what is it called? Nigeria. You look what Nigeria is. You look at the northern part of Nigeria, that's where you see the kingdom, which we're talking about, Dahomey and Benin. That's where those places are in northern Nigeria. So right here, where it says Benin, start reading there.
Grew increasingly, which during the 16th and 17th centuries on the slave trade with Europe. Slaves from the enemy states of the interior were sold and carried to the Americans in Dutch and Portuguese ships. The Bight and Benin's shore soon came to be known as the Slave Coast.
Okay, so now the slave coast was the west coast of Africa, where these Africans, these black folks, or black skin like ours, but they knew the difference between Negroes and themselves is who was selling us to the white man. Go ahead.
King Gizo of Dahomey said in 1840, the slave trade is the ruling principle of my people.
So start right there. So King Gizo said that the slave trade is the ruling principle of his people. Okay, so he made his people as a distinct possessive pronoun. He's speaking about his people. Go ahead, read.
It is the source of the glory of their wealth.
So it's a source of the glory of their wealth. Go ahead.
The mother lulls the child to sleep with notes of triumph.
So they sang songs to their children, them conquering us. They made songs about that. Read.
Over an enemy reduced to slavery. In 1807, the UK Parliament passed a bill that abolished the trading of slaves. The King of Bani, now in Nigeria, was horrified at the conclusion of the practice.
So start right there. So now the laws passed in the Parliament of the English government and the French that it's going to be illegal to trade slaves for them to take slaves anymore. But that was on the English and the French. That wasn't with the so-called what's called America today. That wasn't with them. That wasn't with the Portuguese. That wasn't with the Spanish either. Read.
We think this trade must go on.
So this is the king speaking, saying that he thinks that the trade must go on. Let's see why he said that.
That is a verdict of the oracle and the priest.
Okay, so the oracles and the priests are they're what so-called religious advisors, and the oracles are the people that so-called give them their visions. Read.
They say that your country, however great, can never stop a trade ordained by God himself.
So you hear what this man said? This African man said that no matter how great your country is, that you can never stop something that was ordained by the Most High himself. So what is he telling you? He's telling you that they knew why we was going into slavery. That's what he's telling you. And that's what you should be understanding is, if they knew why we was going into slavery, then why is it so far-fetched for you to understand the purpose of us going into slavery? We went into slavery for our disobedience. They knew it. We already read earlier last week, Lord's in the Lord's class. We read last week that Titus said that he couldn't accept the reefer victory because he was just a vessel used by the Lord to do what they was doing to us. Now you got an African man telling you the same thing. This ain't in the scriptures. This is written down in Wikipedia. So everybody that don't even know each other, Titus was way after King Gizo. I mean, way before King Gizo. And here they saying the same thing. They saying the same thing. So let's go to the book of Daniel. Let's go to the book of Daniel. Because everything that this man said was already prophesied what was going to happen. Now, how we know that those people that call themselves us, that's faking the funk, the biggest identity theft individuals on the planet, which those Amalekites, those fake Jewish people. We know for a fact that they ain't the people because the scriptures say so. Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 9. And I want you to start at verse 4.
Daniel 9, verse 4. And I prayed unto the Lord my God, and made my confession, and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that loved him, and to keep them that keep his commandments. We have sinned and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled even by departing thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto the servants, the prophets, which spake in the name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land.
So stop right there. So now Daniel is prophesying. He's telling us that, that we didn't keep the commandments, that we did dreadful to the Lord. Great dreadful. He was emphasizing how bad it was that we did what we did. Okay? And then he says, now departing from the precepts. The precepts is us, line upon line, teaching these scriptures. Okay? From the judgments, meaning that the punishments that come with us breaking God's laws. That's the only way you can get judgment. Okay? Now he's saying we did not hearken unto the servants of the prophets, that we didn't listen to what the brothers had wrote before Daniel came with this prophecy. We didn't listen to the king or the princes, right? We didn't listen to our fathers that was telling us that we had to keep God's laws. Go ahead, read.
O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee.
So he's saying the righteousness belong unto the Lord. He gonna get us right. How you gonna do it? Read.
But unto us confusion of faces, as it this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto Israel, all Israel, that are near, and that are far off.
So when he said that, when he said to Judah, which is Judah, and he said Jerusalem, that's Benjamin and Levi, and then when he's talking about all of Israel, he's talking about the northern kingdom, okay, far and near, because we was from Jerusalem spread out all the way into Greece, okay, with Thessalonica and Galatia and Corinth and all of those places were. That's what he's talking about. Read.
To all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass, that they have trespassed against thee.
So we trespass against the Most High. That's who the thee is. Read.
O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face to our kings, to the princes and our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Read.
To the Lord and our God belong mercies and forgiveness, through all we have rebelled against him.
That's right, because we rebel against the Most High. Read.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in his laws which he has set before us by his servants and prophets.
Okay, so now it's telling you that we didn't obey his laws, that we didn't do it. Now Daniel about to lay something real heavy on us right now, and how we know that what he laid on us is because when we read in Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we started reading from verse 15 to 68, how long did the Most High say, Brother Juan, that these curses were going to be upon us?
Until he come back.
He said forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's forever is forever. Ain't no dispensation of time that ends with forever. Forever means forever. So just like Brother Juan said, until he comes back, that's when forever ends. So go ahead, read.
Yea, all Israel has transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
So he said, some of Israel.
He said all of Israel has
All
transgressed.
Israel. Every last one of us. Every last one of us. Read.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servants of God, because we have sinned against him.
Stop right there. Where are the curses of disobeying the Most High found? In the book of Deuteronomy. That's the only place in the Bible where you see the curses that Daniel just said was poured upon us. He said, therefore the curses are poured upon us. That's what he said. So if he's telling you that the curses,
All participants are muted.
if he's telling you that all the curses are poured upon us, and those curses that he's speaking of, that Moses, the servant of God, So let's refresh your memory. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Read verse 15.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay, so now that proves right there that we in the curses, because Daniel just said it. Read verse 11 again in Daniel 9.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us,
The curse is poured upon us. Read.
and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of thy God, because we have sinned against him.
We have sinned against him. So guess what, people? If those fake people that's over in our land were the people, then everything that happened to us would have happened to them. It didn't happen to them. They didn't happen to them. They didn't go into no slavery in no ships. They children wasn't taken away from them and given to another people. They were not sold. None of those things happened to them. Okay? The concentration camp, number one, that whole fiasco only lasted 4 years. 4 years. That's how long it lasts. And guess what, people? When Smith went into that concentration camp and he survived, okay, the concentration camp, and he got his little number stamped on his arm, okay, and he survived. When he came out of that concentration camp, guess what his name was? Smith. He was never discontinued from his heritage. We the only people that once we went into captivity, we lost our entire heritage. Everything that they did and everything that they do and practice today, they never lost it. They never lost their heritage. They were able to still keep their Passovers and all of the things that they was doing when they went in them concentration camps. But before the concentration camp, faking like they was us. When they went into concentration camps and when they came out, they never was broken from their heritage. It never happened. They never went in no concentration camp on no slave ships. And there ain't no time in history, in the entire history of the known world, that any people on the face of this planet ever went into slavery on ships but us. The Negroes that's in North and South America. We the only ones that this happened to. Go ahead, read verse 12.
And he hath confirmed his words.
So start right there. When it say confirm his words, that means that it is proof, undoubtedly proof, that what the Lord said was going to happen was happening. Read.
Which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
A what?
A great evil.
A great evil. Now you're about to find out how bad our situation was, but yet we so worried about everybody else. Read that, brother.
For under the whole heaven hath not been
Under
done.
the what?
The whole heaven hath not been
The
done.
whole heaven. Under the whole heaven. What Daniel's prophesying is what happened to us under the whole heavens. That means from the beginning of time to right now, where we at right now, was what?
Hath not been done.
Have not been done. It's been the worst thing ever done to a people in the whole history of the earth. That's what he just said. Nothing can compare to what happened to us. And we running around here forgetting our heritage and not knowing how important it is. We running around here forgetting the fact, forgiving people for what they did to us and acting as if what happened to us was no big deal. Daniel prophesied that what happened to us under the whole heaven, nothing on earth can compare to what happened to us. Finish reading that.
As has been done upon Jerusalem.
That's right. To the Israelites. What happened to us, nothing can compare to what happened to us. Nothing. Go ahead, read, brother.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, and we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
We might do what?
Turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
So what he's saying is these curses that came upon us were brought upon us so that we could do what?
Turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
Understand thy truth. Because these things happen, that's why he said there'd be a sign and a wonder. Because these things happen, they happen so that we are turned from our iniquities. Iniquity is sin. So that we can understand the truth. The truth of who we are. And what we got to do to get back to where we need to be with the Most High. Read, brother.
Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us.
He did what?
Watched upon the evil and brought it upon us.
He brought it upon us. He brought it upon us. But let's get real deep into that thing. The Most High brought it. You think he just woke up one day and just said, I'm going to bring evil upon my people? No. We did it to ourselves. So guess what, people? I'm telling you this. Don't blame the white man no more. Don't blame the African man no more. Don't blame Chinese man no more. Don't blame Japanese man no more. Blame your damn self. Because it was us that put us in this predicament in the first place. Because when Brother Juan read in Daniel chapter 9 verse 11, he said that all Israel sinned against the Most High. And the Most High brought all this evil against us. So we the fault. We the fault. So you know what? Yeah, everything that we read, when we read in Wikipedia with Titus, everything we read about the homing, every last one of them said that they did only what the Most High gave them the power to do. You understand? So that means that if we was doing what we were supposed to do, they would have never had the power to do what they did to us. All this evil that came upon us is our fault. So at the end of the day, when it's time to point the finger, the Edomites did a hell of a job on us. The Egyptians did a hell of a job on us. The Japanese, Chinese, everybody did a hell of a job on us. But nobody would have been doing a job on us if we would have did what? Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Hold what you got right there where you live over with Daniel. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and read verse 1.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations on the earth.
So, Brother Juan, did he say some of his commandments?
All of his
He
commandments.
said all his commandments. He said that he will put us on high above all nations on the earth if we did all his commandments. So now when we read it in the book of Daniel, we want to blame everybody for what's happening to us. It's our own damn fault. And it's us that's only going to get us out of this mess. So go back to the book of Daniel, chapter 9. And go ahead, start at verse 14.
Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth.
So people might want to say, oh, we didn't deserve that. Oh, yes, we did. Because, see, what you fail to realize is for centuries 100 years, for centuries, times 2,000, and some odd years, we were disobeying the Most High. So let me say something. If you was able to live for 2,000 years and your kids were disobedient to you for 2,000 years, you mean to tell me that you wouldn't have punished them beyond a punishment that they would never forget if they were just doing the hell they want to do for 2,000 some odd years? So what makes the Most High so different from you as parents and you punishing your children for just doing what they wanted to do? He did what he had to do to get us in line. And guess what it did? It made us have to make a choice. If you love me and you want to get the kingdom, then show me by keeping the commandments. If you hate me and you don't want the kingdom, then keep doing what you're doing. We can't sit here and fake the funk and act like, on the Sabbath day, that's the only day we're supposed to be holy of the holy. We're supposed to do what we do on the Sabbath. You're supposed to do that every day of the week. That's the whole reason why the Most High gave us Numbers 15 and 38. Brother, go to that real quick. Hold what you got. Go to Numbers 15 and 38. No, matter of fact, don't start at 38. Let's go a couple verses up. Start at verse 32.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Okay, so they found a man. The children of Israel found a man picking up sticks on the Sabbath. Okay? They already knew what the Sabbath day was and what we could and could not do. Read.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and used all the congregation, and unto all the congregation, And they put him in ward, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
Okay, so they put him in jail. That's what they did. They put him in the jail. Why they put him in the jail? Because they thought the Most High was playing. When the Most High said that you keep my Sabbath holy, and he would cut you off if you didn't, and he gonna kill you. But they thought, Moses and Aaron thought that the Lord was playing. They thought, oh, he didn't really mean that. The man was picking up sticks. He don't really mean that. Let's see what the Most High said. Read.
And the Most High said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death.
He shall be what?
Surely put to death.
Okay, read.
All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp.
Read.
And all the congregation brought him without the camp, and stoned him with the stones, and he died.
And he did what?
And he died.
Why he died? Because he was picking up sticks on the Sabbath day. Read.
As the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that...
Stop right there. Bid means order them. Order them. Read.
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations.
Throughout what?
Throughout their generations.
Generations end? No, they don't. They forever. They forever. So he said, speak unto the children of Israel and bid them, meaning order them, that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations. Go ahead, read.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
A ribbon of blue on the fringes. Why we had to do that? Read.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Most High, and to do them, and that ye speak not after your own heart.
Read that again, brother. That you do what now?
That you do them. And that ye seek not
That's
after
right.
your own heart.
That you seek not after your own heart. So is anywhere in that scripture say that you wear fringes only on Monday? No. Does it say you wear fringes on the second day?
No.
Or the third day? It said throughout your generations, right? Mm-hmm. That means every day you wear them. Why are you wearing them? To remind you to do what? Keep the laws, right? Mm-hmm. So the day that you don't got them on is, I guess you saying that you don't want to keep, that those days I ain't going to keep God's laws. I'm only going to keep the laws on the Sabbath day. So that's what the reason why I brought you here is because I want you to see that you do anything contrary to what the Most High said, that you doing what? You seeking not after your own heart. So if you seeking not after your own heart, then you doing what the Lord say. If you seeking after your own heart, then that means you doing what you want to do. That means you doing what you want to do. So go back to the book of Daniel. And I want you to read verse 14 again. Chapter 9, verse 14. Daniel 9:14.
Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works, which he doeth, for we obey not his voice.
That's right, because he gave us laws. We didn't keep them. Read.
And now, O Lord our God, that hast brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and hast gotten thee renown.
Yeah, renown. Uh-huh. That means renewed us. Go ahead.
As at this day we have sinned, we have done wickedly.
Read.
O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city, Jerusalem, holy mountain. Because for our sins and for our iniquities of our father, Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach.
A reproach is a laughing stock. Read.
To all that are about us.
Everybody around us is laughing at us. Everybody around us is laughing at us. All because we couldn't keep God's laws that was so simple. We want to be like everybody else. So everybody that was around us, let's get with who they are. Let's go to Psalms 83. And start at verse 1.
Psalms 83, 1 and 8. Keep not our silence, O God, hold not thy peace.
So this right here, King David saying to the Most High, to keep not his silence. Don't be quiet about this thing. Don't hold your peace. Read.
And be not still, O God, for lo thine enemies.
So stop right there.